let me introduce Gloria Orwoba, nominated senator. Mheshimiwa, a very good morning to you and welcome back to
Good
Radio
morning.
Generation.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad to see you. The last time you were here, ukakuja ukatusalimia tukachapa story mingi. Then the next day I'm seeing you huku tao unaleta
was it right before?
It was, yes, it was before.
It was after.
Was it after?
I thought it was after.
No.
She came
when
here.
she was dealing with the cops at Parliament.
Yes, when
I think it was after.
when
Yes,
somebody was
you dealt with the
exercising
cops.
weightlifting with her.
Yes. She was also weightlifting.
I never
the
dealt
chains.
with the cops. The cops dealt with me.
Right. and how did that situation end? Because we just saw one picture on paper and then we saw several videos online.
Well, I mean, as is with this administration of late, they are definitely not interested in obeying court orders. They are not interested in any institutions or just upholding the constitution. So, yeah. Your guess is as good as mine.
We sat here a few days later then after that incident with Senator Gerard Gay.
And what did he have to say about it?
So we asked him, bana, mbona mnafanya dada yetu hivi? Akasema sasa kitu ufanye, hiyo story akasema imeisha, you move on. And he actually said the only thing now you can negotiate for is your salary, but otherwise this other situation is done.
And that's the thing. You see, those are the mindsets that are advising the president. Because to them it's like, it's done, move on, you know, the same way, like, oh, you killed Kenyans, move on, we've buried them, let's move on. Yeah, I mean, we are going to move on. I mean, as you can see, I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm not stuck in that situation. But some of us understand that justice must prevail. And whether it prevails now, whether it prevails next month, whether it prevails in 2 years, you know, I mean, if we are interested in keeping this country as an independent state, run by rules, by the constitution, we should not entertain people like Gerard Gay. Yeah. Because, you know, that also means that I can wake up today and just carry out an injustice towards my neighbor and then say, move on. Yeah, and then so what republic is that we are trying to create?
Has this ever happened ever before in this country?
Let me ask a question
Yes,
in
sir.
response to that. Has there been an Orwoba before this?
There can only be one me. Yeah.
Yes.
There can only be one me. I know that Senate and the powers that be, when I mean powers that be, I mean the people who run Senate. I've said this before. Senate is run by the clerk of the Senate, and then the Speaker of the Senate is a subordinate of the clerk of the Senate. Those
Really?
two, yes. Those two people will not allow, because they know that if I'm in that space, I will continue to talk, I will continue to highlight, possibly even now bring evidence and record all the things that are happening. So for sure, they are not going to allow for anything like that, because they want to continue with their illegalities, the corruption, the spending, so they will do whatever it takes. We've seen where we are with this particular administration, and yeah, so for me, I'm aware that what I'm fighting for is for Kenyans not to give up.
Yeah. Did they apologize for manhandling? Okay, for woman handling you because they were women?
No, and I'm still waiting to see, because you know they arrested me and I was there's some charges were put to place, so I've been waiting to be called, to be taken to court. I understand the file is being put together. I'm waiting. You know, for me,
what was the charge though?
They charged me with disturbance, something like creating disturbance.
Disturbance?
Yeah.
Where? Because I remember you on your vehicle.
Quite frankly, honestly, we need to have, and this is my take of this, is it's their right to think that I created disturbance. But I had a court order. So the people they should have arrested actually is the clerk and the Speaker of the Senate for not you know, following the court orders. When you have a court order, that's how it works in a country that actually follows the rule of law. But you know, right now we are in Kenya.
There are those who would argue that they understood that a court order may be given, so they went and swore in the individual.
Yes, they did. They did. In fact, what happened is they knew that they had such a weak case, and on that same day they knew that the judgment was coming out with orders, and because they knew their case was so weak and they knew the illegalities that they had participated in, and they knew that they could not compromise that particular tribunal. So they knew they were going to lose the case.
Yeah.
So what they did, they hurriedly swore her in, so that it's like, oh, hata kama umeshinda kesi, we already have someone in office. But still, the judgment was very clear. It came out and said everything that happened after the illegal expulsion of this person is null and void, and therefore she should be reinstated.
That's what it said.
Yes, it's
So
very clear.
anything that happened, which means even that swearing in.
Anything.
But
The swearing in, the gazettement of the vacancy, all those things are null and void. And what is of concern is that they went as they should, it's their right. They appealed to the High Court, and they tried to seek stay orders so that they can protect the lady that's there. And they have since not gotten any stay orders. And so they continue to participate in illegalities. And she's getting a salary illegally.
So the senator, again, Gerard Gay, who was he said that you had so many opportunities to ensure that this didn't get to where it is
Yes,
right
what
now.
he meant is that I had so many opportunities to kiss us. I had so many opportunities to sleep sleep with whoever needs to be slept with. I had so many opportunities to bend over backwards and say, listen, I'm a woman, I'm sorry, I tried to have a voice. I know I did, but you cannot if I've told you my problem is a problem of dignity, you cannot present me with opportunities to
and dignify yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because
he's right. He's absolutely right. I had opportunities where they said, go make peace, go bend over, go.
But he was also talking about other legal processes, like you could have stopped.
No. I've exhausted. That is not right. That is wrong. But again, it's Senator Gerard Gay. Really, guys, when you also call people here, Gerard Gay, you can listen to him about Nandi streets and the things he's doing in Nandi. But Gerard Gay is not a person you sit down and listen to in terms of legal advice in terms of. No, you don't.
Senator,
he's a lawyer, though.
He's a lawyer, Senator.
Karen Nyamu is a lawyer.
Senator, there are very many lawyers in this country.
Doesn't mean that you specialize in all law.
No.
It doesn't mean you specialize in all law. Okay. For instance, I'm just being frank. I'm being frank.
Please go on.
As a lawyer, it doesn't mean if you're a lawyer, you know everything. There are people who do family law. There are people who just went and got their degrees in law. They've never practiced, so they don't know anything. True. There are people who have speciality in constitutional law. There are people who know about political cases.
And who else is
lawyer?
Well, I'll tell you.
I'm just saying.
Where?
I'm just saying.
No,
show me.
Gay.
No.
CS Murkomen.
No, me. I'm just saying because you're the one who said Gerard Gay is a lawyer.
This man is an instigator. Please do not follow his train of thought.
I'm just saying. How many cases of this kind of nature has Gerard Gay won?
Okay.
Forget winning. Has Gerard Gay been involved in?
Look.
So, there are many lawyers. By the way, there are so many lawyers who are telling me not to go to the tribunal. And that was not the case. And so, I have
These are your colleagues in Senate? Or even
lawyers even outside.
Okay.
So, and this is also why some people, they get legal counsel, but they fail. Because as much as it's legal counsel, it's actually not the right legal counsel.
Okay.
So, I'm just trying to say, and not to call Gerard Gay stupid, I'm just trying to say that Gerard Gay would be the last person to tell me about what process.
Why are we discussing Senator Gerard Gay?
Because this guy is throwing his name back and forth. I would like for us to move past this.
Thank you.
It's because I asked him that question and then he gave me a response, and I honestly needed to know from the senator's point of view, that is now Senator Orwoba, what she is it actually factual that she had opportunities to ensure that we didn't get to this
By
point?
the way, just so I can summarize this.
Yes.
I was presented for a disciplinary hearing on Friday, which we got a court order against. UDA and all those corrupt people decided to ignore that court order.
Yeah.
So on Friday, they executed
what was the court order about?
To stop the disciplinary.
All right.
Yeah. The court order actually said that this hearing that you have summoned on this particular date should not happen because there has been issues of the fairness of the whole thing. And so the order was stopping it so that we can go to court and listen to what's happening. They ignored that. That was on Friday. And then they sat on that Friday and they expelled me.
From UDA?
Yes. And on Monday, so Saturday and Sunday, those are weekend days. Saturday and Sunday, actually the Secretary General on Saturday was in a workshop somewhere in Machakos, and he was quoted saying, tumemalizana na huyo mama. You understand? And on Monday,
who said that again?
Hassan Omar.
Okay.
Yeah, and on Monday so that's Friday. Friday we serve them with an order. They tell us go, you'll come back.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday was a weekend. Saturday Hassan Omar is hard telling people they are done with me. On Monday they apparently had a NEC meeting where they presented the report from the Friday hearing. They presented the report on Monday, and the NEC meeting ratified that they've expelled me on Monday morning.
Okay.
Right? So when Cherargei says I had enough, then now after Monday, on Wednesday, so Tuesday, when I'm hearing from the news and everything, on Wednesday, they gazette my seat vacant. For you to be able to even appeal within the internal systems of the party, you need to be served with the hearings, so that you can use the hearings and whatever it is they used. So even they didn't even communicate that they've removed me. The speaker, because all these people it's one entity. The speaker works for UDA.
Okay.
So UDA on Monday, when they were done with whatever they were doing, they called the speaker, said, by the way, iki tumwarakishe. On Tuesday, they needed, what actually stopped them from giving that thing on Tuesday is because they realized that they needed ORPP to send a letter. So the small delay of Tuesday was because ORPP needed to write a letter. ORPP is another entity that received a phone call and were told, andikeni barua mtoe mama. In between all those processes, you're supposed to have at least 14 days for the person.
And this happened within how many days?
Friday, Saturday and Sunday is a weekend. Monday, Wednesday, my seat is vacant.
Okay.
Yeah. So what can Cherargei tell you about that? That's why I tell you, don't listen to Cherargei.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair
and
enough.
these are not rumors. This is something that happened. So on Wednesday, my seat was declared vacant. Yeah. Then by that time, we went to the tribunal. So now when we went to the tribunal, they realized, okay, this is a political party tribunal. We went back also to the High Court to seek contempt orders. And then now things started happening. And then they tried to push IEBC to gazette. IEBC at that time felt this is too much. This thing is people are watching. So IEBC dragged their feet. But IEBC on Thursday should have gazetted the next person, so that on Tuesday, come the following week, she would have been sworn in.
Okay.
They got a problem with IEBC. IEBC got cold feet. Now, when the ruling was supposed to come out...
Why cold feet? Maybe
because
they're just being...
No, because at that time also, we were before... IEBC was also before court. Remember, they had illegalities with the other case of Gachagua. So they said this... People are looking at IEBC. How can we then now again go and... Right now, it's too... Iki tu iko kwa media sana. Thanks, media. So, media bought me some time there, which we were in the tribunal. So remember, then everything went down. There was a lot of other things happening. And then a day before, so that Friday and then Tuesday, we were getting, is it Tuesday or Wednesday, we were getting the judgment. IEBC was pressured to gazette. And then on Friday, IEBC gazetted the lady.
Okay. All right.
Which is also weird, because IEBC was before the tribunal with us, and IEBC was on record through their lawyer saying they're waiting for the tribunal to give them guidance so that they can take the next steps. So what happened to waiting for the tribunal? A phone call happened. So when you look at, so for me, if you ask me right now in that situation, Cherargei can't know, because he has never been suspended. He can't be suspended. He bends over backwards to make sure that he is, I mean, he can never be in a situation where I am in, because he doesn't even speak the truth. He can't stand out for anything. Cherargei will work for his safety.
Okay.
That's the kind of person that he is. So he doesn't even know what it means to be at loggerheads with your boss.
How different is he from other politicians, except yourself, of course?
No, there are other politicians who will actually tell the party leader or the president or whoever, by the way, me, I'm with you, I like you, we are in your party. But no. Many. You could see it even in the impeachment patterns for the Kericho guy. Mandago did not impeach the guy. And yet they had orders from above to impeach the guy.
Mandago has his own problems, doesn't he?
Yeah, but even with his problems, he actually decided, because Mandago is a person who right now should not even take any risks, but still, even with his problems, he was like, you know what, I'm going to risk this one because this one is wrong. But Cherargei is not that person. Cherargei, the moment you tell him, how do you want me to vote? What do you want me to say? So let's not discuss Cherargei. Yeah, let's do that.
So you said that you have moved on from this situation.
I've not moved on from the situation, because I'm not the type to move on like that. I will move on at my terms. What I have said is I am aware that there is no intention for this administration and particularly the Senate to follow any court orders.
Mheshimiwa, let
with
me ask
regards
you a
to this.
question.
I'm aware, so
Mheshimiwa.
it is not coming as a surprise.
Mheshimiwa.
Yeah.
You, there was a time you wanted to be an MP.
I still want to be an MP.
Well, let me start my sentence again. There was a time you wanted to be an MP.
Yes.
The people of that constituency didn't seem to share that same idea with you.
I didn't come that far though.
It is okay.
They were not given the opportunity because I really didn't get to the ballot.
What happened to you?
I lost the primaries.
The primaries, who was electing? Who was determining?
The party primaries were being determined by the members of the party. That's why ideally when you lose the party primary, some people choose to go independent because they know that maybe the people, the constituency at large still wants them. Yeah, but I didn't come that far.
Why didn't you go independent?
Because to be honest, as my first time in politics, I listened to everyone else. And they tell you don't dare, and so I got cold feet.
Now,
I didn't have the balls.
The reason
City, kindly proceed. The question is...
I am proceeding. Mheshimiwa here is treating me to shock therapy, and she's circumventing my thought processes. So anyway, by the time everything that you're saying happens, if we take what you're saying to be true, clearly you stepped on a live wire.
Definitely.
You offended some people quite profoundly.
Yeah.
Because if I'm to believe what you're saying, that's a lot of effort that people have gone into to keep you out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What live wire did you step on?
I blew the whistle. I mean, you've just seen in the papers the guy who blew the whistle on whatever got fired. The
Rotich.
Yeah.
The sharp person.
Yeah. By the way, I was also the sponsor of the whistleblower protection bill. It's funny, but
how useful is that bill?
Very useful if it is not watered down, just like the conflict of interest bill. The conflict of interest bill in its originality was going to stop a lot of politicians and government employees from doing business with government. But it was watered down. The whistleblower protection bill, as I had it before the National Assembly said that I could not sponsor it because it's a money bill, so they took it to the National Assembly. The way I had it under the APNAC network is an awesome bill. It would protect all these whistleblowers. But I know it will be watered down, especially if it runs through this parliament.
This whistleblowing that you speak of, did it go against the dictates of the party that sponsored you to the Senate?
No. It went against individuals' interests, not the party's ideology, not the party's... Because the party's ideology and everything is even to deal with corruption. But it went against interests that were at personal level of certain people.
Let me ask the question again. What did you whistleblow?
3 things, actually. The first one was all the corruption that's happening in Parliament, which thankfully the president later came to realize that I was always saying the truth. So he also said there's corruption in Parliament. Corruption is in different forms. There's corruption of money exchanging hands. There's corruption of abuse of office, people using their offices to make sure bills are being shut down and things like that. That's corruption of influence. And there's corruption of favors. For instance, I've said sex for work. Exchange of
in Parliament,
sexual favors, so you can get trips,
yes,
so you can get
in Parliament.
Yes.
God Almighty.
I cannot say National Assembly because I haven't been to National Assembly, but in Senate for sure, 300%. And that is the reason why they have refused to be very transparent on the expenditures of all the local and the international trips. It's a very simple audit and an account that can be shown to the Kenyans of who travels, who they travel with. Today, if you pull up the travel report from Senate, you can see that I've traveled maybe 3 trips, and when I traveled, I went with CT and I went with who, and you can see a pattern of who travels and who they travel with. And you can see a pattern.
It's all documented.
It's all documented.
Because
you get money to travel, and for you to get that money, it has to be accounted under a trip. It has to be accounted under either per diem.
And the people who are benefiting from it must also be documented.
So if I'm lying, because they say she's a liar, she speaks too much. If I'm lying, just put out the travel report. Let Kenyans see that Orwoba is lying. If you put out the travel reports, you will see who Orwoba has been traveling with and how many times she travels and why she's traveling for everything. She's an agriculture expert, a corruption expert, gender expert. She's now at New York because she's an expert of whatever is happening at Unga. I mean, you can be able to see a pattern of exchange of favors for trips. You can be able to see a pattern of corruption in form of influence by office, because there are people who constantly travel under the office of the speaker.
Constantly.
Hey.
There are people who constantly travel under the sponsorship of the office of the clerk.
Mheshimiwa tupatie dossier.
There's something I need to ask here, because this has always puzzled me. What is it about these trips? Why do people break an arm and a leg for these trips?
Because it's a lot of money.
Okay, what is a lot of money?
Your per diem.
Okay, maybe what it is asking, for example, if I go to Unga today as a senator, what's my per
New York
diem?
is about $1,300 a day, US dollars.
So, what?
So that's about 169K
Per day. And you definitely
169,000.
have a relative who lives there, so you're not going to spend any of it on accommodation. And you're definitely not going to eat anything more than 3,000 Kenya shillings a day. You're probably not going to eat because you'll be eating at the Unga conferences and whatever. So you have 169,000 in your pocket every day.
And on average,
10 days minimum.
Days. So I have a cool 1.7 M for those few days.
Every time you travel, you can buy a car.
And not just any car.
Now go to all our social media pages and see how many times some people have traveled and how many cars that is.
You guy, my guy. So now you have your answer.
No, I haven't. That's just the first question.
I mean, an average car is
1.8 to 2 million.
That's a very decent car.
Yeah.
The follow-up to that question is there no ceiling for the number of times somebody can travel?
No, that's absolutely not. There's no ceiling. The ceiling is the ceiling that you use to get the travel.
Is there no
you get
budget?
What I'm going with that?
Is there no budget?
There is a budget, but you see, for instance, I talked about the head of media. There's a lady who was busy abusing me on social media. She's the head of media in the Senate.
Okay.
Head of media.
She's in charge of all the journalists who get approval to get into the Senate and do their reporting.
Oh, so she's like the parliamentary media liaison.
Absolutely.
Okay.
On the day when I was being stopped from entering, she gave a warning to all the journalists. And if I'm lying, ask any journalist who was there, that they shouldn't be seen trying to take photos or covering the story. Because they knew they
covering
were
the arrest.
Covering the illegality.
Okay.
She was there taking videos of me and laughing and sending to her boss and whoever else she was sending to. They probably have like an inside WhatsApp group where they, they corrupt people and they joke about the things they're doing. And literally that circus was like on, it must have been like on a Thursday, I can't remember which day it was. And 3 days later, she was on a plane. And there was no budget to accommodate her for that particular travel, but they found a budget from the speaker's office because she was being told, "Asante sana, thank you, did a good job."
Good job, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Quite damning conversations that.
And if I'm lying, let her come and say she didn't go. She was in Turkey.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. Do employees of Senate and Parliament get a similar per diem? Ama inakwanga chini kidogo?
No, it's not the same.
Okay.
It's not the same. It's different for a parliamentarian, and there is a thought process behind that because the expectation is that where you sleep is not the same place that, let's say, for instance, an intern in Parliament will sleep.
Okay.
It is expected that an honorable member, a person of that stature will not sleep in a $15 hotel. It is expected they will sleep like in a $60 hotel.
Do they know Kenyans well, these people?
But you see, the thing is, it's not even about knowing Kenyans. It's not, the issue is not even about that disparity. It's like you said, City. Is there a ceiling? Is there a justification? What's the return on investment? Why are you there? There are people who go for security meetings and they know nothing about
security.
Ukraine, for instance, or even what's
Israel.
happening in the world, Israel.
They probably think Ukraine is the Middle East.
They know nothing about, forget Ukraine, maybe you've gone too far. Just ask them about our border control here. They have no clue, but they are in a security meeting representing
How
the
are
Senate.
Land Forces were
They have never legislated on anything in security. They've never even sat through a workshop of any legislation on security. But you find they are in New York.
Yeah. So you brought up these conversations and you flagged them basically, and this is what got you into trouble.
And I didn't want to bring them up. I only brought them up because finally it got to me. It's not like I went out of my way to bring them up.
Is it because you were almost falling victim to this particular situation?
In fact, I did fall victim, and that's why I brought it up. So you asked me about stepping on live wires. That was one of them. The second thing is, I started an inquiry at the Senate for the scam that is the labor export program. You remember? And because of my inquiry, Alfred Mutua was summoned by the Labour Committee. And when he was summoned, to date, he has been unable to give us a database of, he talks about, I don't know how many thousand, 750,000 to 1 million people having left the country. We simply wanted the names.
Yeah.
We simply wanted the names. Just give us, I mean, if CT has left the country and gone to Saudi Arabia, surely CT has gone through your program. You must have CT in your database.
So he
To
never
date,
provided a single name?
Never. He came back with some lie about me running an illegal agency, which everybody could see that's a lie. I mean, honestly speaking.
Senator Orwoba now?
Yeah.
Okay.
He tried to spin it. Luckily, the media, thank you, media, the media could see through it, so they didn't even feature that whole nonsense. And he said it in the inquiry that I'm going to lose my job. And I said, bring it on, because I mean...
Oh, Dr. Alfred now.
Yeah, so there was there was Alfred Mutua, and then obviously I went to pick up my cousin from the airport, and they were like, we are done with you.
He said this to your face, that you're going to lose your job?
He said it in camera. He said it in the media was there. And in fact, he's the one who instituted the thing at the UDA, because the complainant who was saying that I should not be a state officer is one of the rogue agents.
Okay.
Who got away with murder, literally, because people have died because of the scam that is this labor. He got away with it. This is the audacity that some of these people in this administration have. And they know that they are covered, that they can walk free, they can score. Honestly speaking, you know, when you ask, how are we having people being gunned down in Nairobi? Let me tell you, the frustration that is out there by general Kenyans and people who have been meted with a lot of injustices. Because how can you do this to thousands of Kenyans? Some kill themselves. I know of a case of a suicide because of having put in money, and then they didn't go and all of that. And you don't care. And then you wake up the next week.
By the way, the suicide even occurs with people who actually go to those destinations and find they can't cope.
So when I say they are rogue agents getting away with murder, I mean exactly that. And by the way, he went ahead and sponsored them to sue me. So they've even sued me. You know, they in fact...
The agents have sued you?
Yeah, so the clerk even at one point went round and said, I'll finish her. I'll bankrupt her. He was telling my colleagues, I'll make sure by the time I'm done with her, she'll be nothing.
Mheshimiwa, you're very vocal about these issues. You don't fear that they'll get you in deeper trouble?
I mean, they've taken away everything they can take away. Unless they now take away my life, which I have gotten threats.
You've received death threats.
This small girl who means nothing.
Have you reported this to the police, DCI?
Why haven't they followed the court orders? Because you are reporting to the criminal.
But have you reported it nonetheless?
You really ask me that question?
Yes, we are actually.
No.
Okay.
I have shouted about it and I've said everything about it.
Yeah, but then due process.
You know what it means when you report about it?
Tell me.
Do you guys know what it means?
No.
Why do you think people don't go and report about it?
I honestly don't.
I have never
because you
received
get an IO, the IO is supposed to investigate, they tell you we want to see, so they try to see, okay, so where did we go wrong in sending the threat?
So they look for the holes that...
Let me tell you something. I have accepted that when I entered politics, and I was warned by many people, including my husband then, and I was told, I know you want to make change and everything, but I mean, really, is this the only way you can do it? I'm like, I feel like this is where you can have the highest impact. Which is true. Politics is where you can have the highest impact. City, when you go to parliament and actually do your job as a parliamentarian, you can save lives more than the United Nations. Literally. Sometimes I would sit in a committee. I was in the committee of delegated legislation, where regulations are made. Regulations about how we live life, how we operate in this country. You know, regulations that are anchored in law. And just as a committee, with a strike of the pen, you can change lives. You can say this regulation is bullshit, it's killing people, we are not going to accept it, and you change lives like that. Parliament is so powerful to the extent that you don't need demonstrations. You see these demonstrations, we go out demonstrating.
Yeah.
You don't need them. If parliamentarians would just do their jobs,
Yes.
you will stop not only the executive. Right now, you have seen the circus that's happening with the National Police Service and the IG in terms of recruitment of police and blah, blah, blah. They came before us in the Labour Committee, and there was a question of who really should get the budget of recruitment. You understand? And the commission was there saying that they are the budget holders, so they are the ones who should do the recruitment. Just a decision like that from Parliament to guide who does the recruitment, change it. It saves lives, because you can see that maybe the commission, once they do recruitment like this, you value the pros and the cons. You look at what the IG wants to do. You can actually guide a whole country in terms of the institutions that are there. I used to bring inquiries to Senate, which I have not talked much about, that would literally put people in prison. You know, we had the unclaimed financial assets where money of people who've died is being eaten left, right, and center
By UFAA.
Yeah. The moment I brought that inquiry, I was told, by the way, you are going to die. They will kill you. Because the amount of money that is being looted by that institution. And you can change it by just saying, we need to have an open inquiry. We need to see what's happening. Bring your books. We have to look into them. And when you find something wrong, you don't even need to, you just need to highlight, this is what is happening. This person has to be held culpable. Half the work that is needed to be done by DCI can be done in Parliament.
Mwesh, then I'm inclined to ask you this question, because I'm certain by the time UDA got to a point where they wanted to nominate you, and they actually nominated you, and you got into Senate, you must have had these conversations with them, like, this is what I hope to achieve when I become the senator.
Yeah, and it's not a mistake that I was nominated.
You articulated these particular points, and they were
By the way, Ruto is not stupid. He doesn't make mistakes. Anyone you see there has a purpose. And anyone you see nominated, elected, or placed in a position of anything, Ruto has seen their potential and he knows their purpose. And I'm 150% sure he knew my purpose is that I will blow the whistle in whatever is happening in Parliament, even before I knew it.
Then at what point then did you disagree with your party?
You see, you have to separate the party from the individuals who illegally removed me. Yeah. Because you see me going back to say Ruto knew why he put me there. It's the same Ruto who went and said, by the way, Parliament is corrupt. I had already said it. He probably already knew that if he put me there, I would be able to see the things that are happening and say it. Because my character has not changed.
Yeah.
I haven't changed. I have grown, but I have not changed.
You are the same person who was fighting for UDA.
Yes.
Did you ever anticipate that you would have the sort of headwinds that are heading in your direction every other day when you were fighting for this particular political party?
I knew, and I saw some instances where I was like, okay, but you know, every bride has their flaws. At one point you have to marry. At one point you have to say this, wacha tu mimi nikae na huyu ndio namjua. So yeah, I did anticipate that ahead I would have problems with certain people, but I didn't anticipate that the party leader would allow them to run the affairs the way they've run them.
What makes you think the party leader allows them?
He allowed them. In fact, before certain things happened, like a gazettement of your seat being vacant in the Senate, the party leader allowed it. He has to allow it. He's the party leader. He owns the party.
There's a reason why I'm asking this. There's always a discussion about the powers that a president has. I am of a contrary opinion that those powers are sometimes hyped. And I'm going to explain.
That's true.
Oh, it is true.
That's true. That's true. Some things happen, and before he even knows they've happened.
When we talk about power,
that is true.
When we talk about power, are we talking about the powers that he's been given by the Constitution, or are we talking about the power that he has because he is the main guy?
No, the power that I'm speaking of, there's this thinking that Kenyans have. There's this thinking that Kenyans have that the president is all-powerful, all-knowing, and that he can do whatever he wants. And I'm saying I am of a completely different opinion.
You are definitely right, City. The president is definitely powerful. The president can stop a lot of things from happening. But the president can also be put in a place where he can't do anything. For instance, for me, when I say he allowed, I know he did. I know that the minions, the Mutuas and these two busy bodies running this, I call them boys, State House boys. I know that there are things that they would do, that they have the audacity to do, but they also know that there's a line. And when there's a line, you go and seek for permission. You go and ask, Your Excellency, tumefika mahali tunataka kumtoa to Gazette. And I know he allowed. I know it.
Politics has what we call horse trading. So when you say he allowed, my brain tells me there was horse trading.
For sure.
What were they trading?
For sure. You know, first of all, you have the majority leader, Aaron Cheriot. You have the speaker. You have the clerk of the Senate. You have Alfred Mutua. God knows how many other enemies were whistleblown when I talked about sex for work. I'm just talking about the ones that I could pick out. God knows how many people I've stepped on just silently who are not coming out. And for sure, it was not 2 or 3 people. It was a group of men who went to him and said, this woman is unbecoming and we can't deal with it. And we know you like her, and we know that she runs the affairs she runs for you in terms of, you know, trying to push the women charter and whatever, but we are done. And I know that he traded that horse. But you know, CT, what I also know, I know that he didn't anticipate what's going to happen. Because I know he thought it would go away. It will go away. It's a small matter. I mean, who the hell is Orwoba? I know he, you know what he did? He did exactly, he took the situation and dealt with it with how he dealt with the Rigathi Gachagua situation. He underestimated him.
The Rigathi Gachagua case hasn't gone away, has it?
It's not even about the case.
And it's not going
They
away.
said we are going to forget about him in 2 weeks.
That's why
Yeah?
when I say case, I mean everything that has to do with his impeachment. It hasn't gone away.
Underestimated. Can I tell you something that I have come to learn? Don't ask me how. There were so many times that the people around Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to impeach Ruto. And there were so many times they came up with a solid plan to say, listen, by Friday, this guy will be gone. And there were so many instances where those plans made sense because, like, literally this guy has become such a nuisance, as you would put it. And he's now just out on a campaign trail with this Tanga thing. But Uhuru Kenyatta was smarter. Because he weighed the options. This is my last term. Do I want to be bogged down with a legacy of having impeached the first deputy president? Will everything of mine be watered down to I fought with my deputy president and he went away? And do I really give a damn about why he's running around the country talking about Tanga? I'm on my last term. For all I care, he might as well go and campaign. I don't really give a damn about that. And he weighed, as a normal person in office would weigh the pros, the cons. Listen to the people who want him out. Listen to the people who want to forget about the situation. Think about your legacy. Think about the distraction it might cause. And he thought about it and he was like, let me tell you something. Leave the man alone. After all, I'm on my last term. I need a legacy. I need to be remembered for something. I'm not going to end it at this, you know.
But here, the president is on his first term, now President Ruto.
Number one, he's on his first term. Number two, Uhuru Kenyatta didn't have minions around him. He had people around him, but he didn't have what I call State House boys.
Gloria,
I'm telling you.
There is no president in the history of this country that has not had minions. None.
Okay, let me put clarity. I'm not trying to say he didn't have people around him or distractors or whatever. The number of sane people, thoughtful people, mature people, older people around Uhuru Kenyatta were more than the minions. Their voice was heard more than the minions. There was some level of, okay, when we are done with listening to this, you will also listen to this. And then we'll go sit down and reflect.
I feel like what Senator here is saying is that they were wiser.
Not necessarily. They were not wiser.
I'm glad she's given that disclaimer because that's where I was going.
They were not wiser. It is, you know how they tell you?
It is the president who was wiser then.
You know, you remember when you were in primary school, the people you hung around? Then when you're in high school, the people you hung around? University, your first job, then you got married. You see how things change? Especially when you get married, then the people around you become elders or whatever. I feel that with Uhuru Kenyatta, the older people, I don't want to say wiser, the people who knew the repercussions of what would happen if they were to impeach Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta listened. I mean, Maybe he didn't listen. Maybe he was also very busy doing his own other thing. Whatever happened is he did not take the path that William Ruto has taken. And there was a reason. It's not because he could not impeach Ruto. It's really, honestly, that there was an actual reason. And now we have been shown that the reason is, if anything, the person that you would have left to do his thing and run his show and, be in office as should have been, because he deserved it, because he worked for it, because he helped you in your campaign, could have remained just that person for 5 years. And who knows where Rigathi would have been in 2026, what he could have vied for. But you made him. You impeaching him has made him the official opposition. I don't think Raila is happy with that. You think Raila is happy with that?
The thing that I find interesting with politics, especially regarding the optics of politics, they never tell you the full story.
Exactly.
You see, who can really tell what the relationship between Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto was? In all honesty, who can?
Only the two of them.
Only they can tell us.
Yes.
And still, it will still boil down to your word against your word.
And if it is a problem, who really knows what the problem was?
Again, his word against his word.
Yes.
And none of them have ever come out to tell us.
But you see, that is where now they differ with Gachagua.
But you see also, that also explains when Uhuru Kenyatta recently went to State House, we were expecting to see cold shoulders, Did you see that?
No.
Boys code. Boys. Friends.
Bro code.
It's the same thing even now. City, if I tell you, I've never argued with my president. We have never gotten into an argument. Severally before, he has called me and told me, bring that post down. Delete that WhatsApp message you have put in the group. Severally, he has actually told me, wachana na hiyo maneno. With all these matters, including with the fake labor, whatever job scandal, he has never. We have never argued. He has never told me anything. And he has not even outed. Have you heard the president talk about me in public?
No,
has he come out and
president,
said, kuna watu tulipatia kazi wakashindwa kufanya kazi? Because that's something he would say politically.
The president always alludes to things, even when he and his president, his boss, had differed. There was no frontal or direct attack that you could say this man has gone and attacked. Even the political opponents that he had, he would allude. He seems to have understood that even when you differ with someone, at least it appears you've differed fundamentally, there are things you don't do. Why am I making this statement? You see, when we discuss the differences that people have, which we're now discussing, you clearly are now a fully fledged card-carrying politician. There's no question about it. Yeah,
when I kept on saying I'm not a politician.
Yes, there's no trisex. There's no. Fully fledged. The circumstances you find yourself in could be argued. That's what's making you say what you say. And that if circumstances changed, you would speak differently.
My circumstances have changed.
How?
I lost my job. People say, there goes your 1 million payroll thing.
Yeah.
The day when the policemen came to arrest me at the Senate, the next day I should have been spewing all sorts of things, right? But I know, this is my thing. And this is why people don't like me in politics, because I know there are things you will not get me to do. When we were impeaching Rigiji, nobody went to talk to Rigiji. To me, it was so strange that only the Wamunyoro function, like the Kirinyaga senator, the people who are already associated with him at that time, those are the people who are talking to him. And I was looking at my colleagues, I'm like, you guys, come on, bana. Rigiji, who used to call us and tell us, Munataka committee gani, that's the guy we are not talking to right now. I was like, you guys are crazy. I walked up to him and I said hi to him in chambers in the full glare of all the cameras and everyone. I got a lot of shit about that. But I can tell you, for me, it was like, this is politics, guys.
You got a lot of bollocking as a result.
Yeah, but for me, it's like that's so weird that today I'm sitting here, and tomorrow, because we've been told you are enemy number one, we don't talk to you. To me, I can't do that. I can't switch off.
The thing that I'm trying to say here is this: optics here. Whatever the problem was, are we saying that there was absolutely no reason why that man should have been impeached?
Yes. Yes. In my opinion, William Ruto did worse as a deputy. He never got impeached. And when I mean worse,
So the
I'm not talking about worse in terms of grounds for impeachment, because what was presented to us of the 11 counts, and I've said this before again and again, I said it in chambers on that day, they couldn't substantiate 10 counts out of 11. So you bring 11 counts and 10 are a fallacy. And then the only one you can substantiate is the thing about shareholding, because he did repeat the shareholding narrative
He
a lot of times.
most certainly did.
And you see, the shareholding narrative, how it is perceived today, how it is perceived tomorrow, can really change.
Actually,
For me, it was
no.
anecdotal.
You know what I mean?
Actually,
It is
no.
like you can sell the story that...
Senator, it doesn't change. In this country, our politics doesn't change. What that man did by saying that is exactly what you've done with the statements you've made. Rigiji actually stated a reality of our politics. Simple.
Okay, yeah.
And
So-
it's like he was being punished
For stating the reality.
of
And
our
that's what
politics.
I'm saying. So if that is a ground for impeachment, how many times did William Ruto state the reality of our politics and he never got impeached?
Yes. Why did
How
he-
many times did he actually even bring back the 2007-2008 scenarios in his campaigns and he never got impeached? So many times he subjected us to such truths that we would like to forget, and Uhuru Kenyatta was chilling by the pool somewhere drinking whiskey, probably, I don't know, I'm guessing, and he never impeached him. So why would you impeach Rigathi Gachagua for, as you said, stating the facts of our politics as it is?
Uhuru Kenyatta is not William Ruto. Let's start there. And William Ruto is not Rigiji. This particular parliament and the ecosystem that we are speaking about now is not the same as the time when Uhuru Kenyatta was president.
Yeah.
The dynamics were
But
completely
then
different.
for me, actually what I should have asked, that deputy president did this. This deputy president did the same. Why is it that this deputy president is being, and now you have answered it, it's because the people in office, the bosses, come from a different cloth. And that I agree with. So what I'm saying is, in some instances, being a young politician, and this cuts across even to myself, you think you are doing the right thing, and you wonder why your predecessors didn't do the things that you're doing, which apparently are supposed to be as right. And then when you do them, and then you realize, oh, that's why they didn't do them. So that's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot to learn, even for myself.
Yeah.
And that statement even applies to me. Like, so many nominated senators went through what I have been going through.
Yeah.
Or even didn't reach half of it, but like they felt they wanted to talk about this. But why didn't they do it? Of course, because they knew that, you'd lose your job and everything. But the difference is that I feel that God sent me there because God knew that I didn't go there for a salary. And so God knew, like, all these people who've been coming, the barrier is the salary. We probably need to get someone who's not going there for a salary. So that they can be able to say these things the way they are. Because if I didn't speak of the things that I've been speaking about, people didn't even know how Parliament operates. Now people know how Parliament operates. And now that you know how Parliament operates, people will say, and so what? So have you changed the world? Yeah, I have. Yes. In fact, so much so that the people who are hoping to be nominated already know being nominated is not a springboard to be elected. It is actually the thing that nips you off the election path. So, and I feel like that is a big thing, because if we are being sincere and intentional about gender parity and women in politics, let's also talk about the sincere fact that it's a lot of sex for work. And let's talk about it, and let's say, okay, are we okay? We are cool with this. We are cool with the sex for work in women in politics.
And here I thought it's all about the money.
It is about the money, but there are people who sincerely, there are a lot of young people who sincerely, the money, everyone wants a job that pays. But there are people who are pushed and are determined, and they're passionate about their job, their actual job. There are people, even when I was in Senate and when I have been in chambers, there are people who come to chambers, they put their card and they literally switch on their phones and they watch Netflix. Still not passionate about debates. There are people who've never even stood and said point of order, because they don't give a damn about the discussions that are going on the floor of the house. So, and I feel like the more Kenyans understand that, the more Kenyans will be like, wewe hapana, wewe tunajua ni mshahara. So wewe hatutakuweka hapo. So you might say a lot of things about me, but I feel like in my plight of being a change maker, a lot of changes have already happened.
I want us to take a short break. We get into a bit of news. Then when we return, here we're talking about redefining leadership, and if women are bold enough, and clearly I find from the conversation that you're quite the bold woman that we think you are. So when we return, the conversation obviously will pick up from how difficult or easy it is for women parliamentarians.
And then are we also going to talk about all that's happening in the political space? The Jubilee thing, the PLP thing.
Yeah, that's definitely up for discussion. Jubilee having the
and
NDC today.
all the violence that's happening in Kissi with Raila Odinga in Kissi doing the ODM at 20.
Have no fear, we'll get there.
How difficult or easy is it for female parliamentarians?
To do what? Depends on to do
just
what.
To do their job. Because I feel like from the conversation, whether nominated or elected, it's like, and I could be wrong on this, so correct me.
Yeah.
For them, once they get there, everything they stood for, everything is actually put to the test.
You really have to be, and that's why there's a notion that if you go into politics and you're a woman, you have to be cantankerous, you have to be rogue, you have to be. You actually don't have to be, but the environment makes you to be that person. And it's worse on nominated, because nominated you're seen as second class, because it is assumed you are given.
You didn't deserve it.
Not even deserve, it's more like, si tumia pesa ya campaign alafu nyi mmekuja mkapewa. But what a lot of people don't understand is before some of us are nominated, we actually were in campaign. We actually spent probably more than some of the people who are elected, because we had to prove our point, we had to support the party, I spent a lot of money. Supporting the Kenya Kwanza Women Charter, the party, the by-elections for the party. I spent money. Those who know. And so even that argument for me is like, what are you talking about? I spent my money. But the elected women, I feel, and this is why I want to get elected, I feel it's not even an issue of respect, but there's an issue of, hey, what do you think you can tell me? Me and you, we've been elected same ballot. So there's that level of, I'm an equal player. Yeah.
Okay.
So to some extent, sometimes I think maybe these nominations should be removed, because the nominations are supposed to serve as a springboard. But actually what they do is that they kill political careers. Because by silencing you and making sure you don't have an opinion, making sure they control you, make sure you have to trade a lot of things just to get by your 5 years. If you look at the stats on how many people are nominated and how many people are elected after that period of nomination, in last parliament, only one got elected. Naomi Wako.
Okay.
From all the nominated people.
Yes. She's the only one who
got elected.
Okay. Now, let's get to this conversation about...
Naomi Wako, that's from Marsabit. Her case is special, isn't it?
All cases for women are special. Actually, I haven't come across a case where a woman that's special? Just normal.
Well, you need to understand who her husband was first.
Oh.
Please educate me.
No, it's not a negative thing. It's
I know, but it has a negative implication.
No, it doesn't. Whenever the reasons why people get elected are as diverse as the people who stand for elections. Right now, if you look at some of these by-elections, there'll be people who will be elected because their fathers had been MPs.
And that's what I mean. For a woman in politics, you need to unlearn. For you, it doesn't look like a negative, but for a woman in politics, it seems like you're saying to them that, yes, we know you worked hard, but we also know that you had a name.
You see,
that helped you. And most of the time, it's not really the case.
There are communities in which it is even more significant because they do not have a history.
Because they do the clans.
And they do not elect women. So when a woman is elected for a position which is not that of the women's rep, or even women, you say it is something. For instance, the neck of the woods where you come from. How many elected women have we had?
We are soon to have one from Mombasa constituency by the name Gloria Orwoba. In 22 months.
You do understand the point I was trying to make.
We have one elected MCA. Yeah. One.
Yes, one. One. Let's talk
As a matter of fact, the joke that the majority leader for Senate was telling people in a platform is that whatever. She thinks she's being so dramatic and so independent because she's going to get elected. Let's see. He was basically like, all the best with your election in Kissi County as a woman, like basically saying you're going nowhere. But I was like, all the best, Aaron Cheriot, with your re-election in Kericho as a senator.
Loaded statement. Let me ask the question about politics and Kissi politics. All right? You mentioned, just as a by the way, you went to the airport to meet your cousin.
Yes. It offended a lot of people.
Why did it offend? Can't people meet their cousins at the airport?
Is the question that we were going to have a conversation at the High Court, and then the tribunal said we can't even get there. This whole thing has been illegal. Because how do you call that being disloyal? How do you call that being disloyal? At the peak of the Gen Z demonstrations, where a government should show solidarity, where a government should show that they are in control and they in fact meant well for the people as a government, and they in fact are going to fix the problems that were happening. At the peak of that, the party leader of United Democratic Alliance went and got in bed with the party leader of ODM. At that point, he should have been expelled from the party.
At that point?
At that point.
What?
And he should have been expelled from the party, and at that point he should have ceased being the president.
But Senator, is there no provision for politicians to just have a conversation?
There is. That is why you cannot expel Gloria Orwoba from picking the cousin from the airport.
Yeah, no, but I'm now getting to this question of Raila and President Ruto forming a broad-based government. That's okay, right? For the benefit of the country. And then okay, if that's okay, then ODM should cede ground from being the official minority in both houses. No, that
they should cede ground.
Yeah.
In fact, at the point where they've said we are one, we are together, we are doing joint parliamentary group meetings, what the hell are you doing being the official minority? In fact, at that point, Jubilee should have been made, or whichever other function that's on the other side should have been made the official minority in both houses. You can't have your cake and eat it. And by the way, thanks to that, because nature abhors vacancies, thanks to that, DCP has become the official opposition. Thanks to that, because now the opposition seat is vacant.
Yeah.
Was vacant.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are other politicians in the opposition. We have Martha Karua, we have Kalonzo.
But we were talking about political parties. Martha Karua doesn't have one member of parliament. So I'm talking about members of parliament. You know, if you are going to go and say us and the president and UDA, we are one, that's fine. Then also come back and tell the speaker we have ceased from being the minority, party. And because we have gone to join UDA, we have gone to become the majority party, and now we are relinquishing the minority party, so that whichever other party that has members of parliament in both houses could then now say, okay, now we are the official.
Also, DCP doesn't have members of parliament.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
But we have other parties. There's Wiper, there's DAP, we have a myriad of
There are other parties right now, including KANU. KANU has members of parliament.
KANU, of course.
KANU has, I don't know why people don't forget about KANU. KANU has members of parliament in currently sitting.
Well, there are those who argue that KANU has a president of Kenya. The previous president of Kenya was also KANU.
Even the leader of opposition.
No, but I'm talking
KANU,
about
the member of the broad-based government, KANU.
No, I'm talking about back to the scenario we have in parliament. At the point when ODM relinquishes its seats as a minority, you have to look at the remaining members of parliament and which parties they come from, and then pick a minority from there.
Gloria, which rule book are you reading from?
The standing orders.
These standing orders stipulate the very things you're saying. So essentially the standing orders make it illegal for this handshake to have taken place.
Absolutely. That's why.
So it also makes illegal the handshake between Raila and Uhuru to have taken place.
But the handshake between Raila and Uhuru never impacted the parliament. It is the handshake of ODM.
It is the
handshake of ODM and UDA that has impeached a sitting deputy president.
Yes, but we didn't have. Look,
you know what I'm trying to say.
We did not
implications.
We did not have. So this whole case is based on what implications?
it's based on the activities that follow once you shake hands. You can shake hands, and then when they come back to the floor of the house, they continue to play their role as the minority, as the opposition.
Exactly.
But then they shake hands, and then they come back to the floor of the house, essentially where you could have been speaking for the people as the opposition, as the minority, you have now joined the majority. Meaning, and that is why you see Gen Z saying Parliament has been compromised. Meaning, at the situation where you have, for instance, a finance bill being fronted, and you have 300 and something members of Parliament, and 250 plus members of Parliament have been whipped to support the finance bill, you no longer have a house. There's no debate. In fact, the only debates that will be happening is that there will be a proposer of the bill, a seconder of the bill, and 250 plus members supporting the bill.
You are aware that you are now discussing the reality of our politics, aren't you?
Yes.
And what is wrong with it exactly?
What is wrong with it is that you do not have a space for divergent opinions and views.
Oh, but you do. In fact, the very handshake is a demonstration of the very thing you're saying we don't have.
How?
We actually have it. It's called choice. Someone deciding.
That's fine.
What I'm concerned about is if we are abrogating protocols, we are breaking the law. If we are going against the Constitution. You see, the practice of our politics from the time President Uhuru became president and the watering down of sections of our Constitution that made it possible for a check and balance to be real and to be practiced. The moment those things were watered down, what we've seen is an escalation of the watering down of processes and ignoring completely
a breakdown of institutions and a breakdown of for me, I see it as a breakdown of institutions, because once I disarm an institution and the mandate it has been given, it's no longer an institution. Opposition is an institution. Political parties are institutions. That's why we even fund political parties. We give money from the exchequer to political parties. When you break down those institutions, they cease from performing their intended mandate, constitutionally speaking.
Let's discuss this thing realistically. What exactly was being implied by the barbs that were directed towards you when you went to meet your cousin at the airport?
It was being implied that anyone who dares to even breathe or think about an alternative president in 2027, even the thought of it, why are you entertaining the thought, must be dealt with ruthlessly.
You know, there was a time in this country
to think, the way you can think, like you have not even voiced it.
By the way, that thinking makes perfect sense, because Charles Njonjo was the Attorney General during Jomo Kenyatta's time. When people started speculating about the possibility of the president's death, we learned then that even to think and to imagine,
treasonous.
Yes, exactly.
But that is in law.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, even to think about it?
That's in law.
Yeah, but before you execute treason, you have to think about it.
But that is actually written in law. So you are breaking a law. But to think about the possibility of a different president, which law have you broken?
Okay.
You see,
because for me, I'm also of the idea to think about the death of a president, you should be jailed. Because everything starts by thought. You think about it.
That's the seed.
You think about it, you start scheming about it, you recruit people, you actualize it. Even my removal was a thought by someone. And then it was executed. So I am of the opinion, as long as it is not written in law that it is, because thinking about the death of a president is written in law that it is illegal.
Does your cousin, cousins, not uncle?
Cousin, not uncle.
Okay. Does your cousin genuinely pose a threat?
For me, this is the funny thing. When I went to pick him at the airport, for me, it was not anything political. No, it wasn't.
Really?
It was welcoming a cousin home.
Look.
No, I mean, think about what you want to think about.
Is a card-carrying politician, astute, understands politics beautifully. The moves she makes are as calculated as the thought that was calculated in removing her.
Okay.
Her intelligence is not average. She doesn't do things because somehow the wind moved in the direction of things she should do.
They are well thought.
She thinks through the things she does, even the ramifications she understands. It's not that if there's someone who understands the ramifications of what she does, it is this lady. who I'm pointing it out to.
Answer City's question then.
Are we just going to let City go away with that? I am politically immature. People have said
he has complimented
irrational. I know, but I'm just trying to let him know that people have said I'm irrational. People say I move too quick.
The vast majority of the people who said this are probably men, isn't it?
That is true.
And they're probably also parliamentarians.
And politicians.
Now, the unfortunate thing is that for most politicians, whatever intellect they have are abandoned at the doorsteps of parliament, because I never cease to marvel at the things politicians do. I never do, because some of them are people I know, and I wonder what happened to this person.
So you don't think I'm just a political amateur who's just rushing into things and got excited?
You are not a bimbo.
A movement.
You are not some chick who was given this job and just sort of like talks when
So City, let me ask you, so what do you think my strategy was when I went to meet to pick up my cousin from the airport?
I don't think. That's why I'm asking you. If I thought, I would have told you what I thought.
Honestly, I went to pick up my cousin. I thought it was, and I still think it was exciting to, for me personally, it was exciting to see that he is having ambitions beyond the World Bank job and being a technocrat. And as a cousin, I thought this is going to be interesting. This guy is going to come to our space now. And it was, for me, on that level, it was exciting. And I was like, I'm going to go and hear what he has to say.
And you think the step he took was a good one? Because right now it is being said he has abandoned a home-based political party and is now quoting and trying to sort of like run around a certain bed with Jubilee.
That question poses, those are like 4 questions in one.
I ask such questions from time to time.
Everyone has, there are things that drive you and then there are realities. For instance, like you said, people think I want to make a political statement by picking up my cousin from the airport.
They do.
And that's theirs because they don't know behind the scenes, they don't know family dynamics, they don't know a lot of things. So it's okay for them to think that way. But you have to sit down with me for you to understand where I have done certain things, where I'm doing certain things. And I also feel like you have to sit down with Matiang'i to understand why he's doing certain things. And I also am of the opinion that definitely a homegrown political party has its pros, because all the nonsense that we are seeing in Kissi, and I call it nonsense because really it is nonsense.
What is? Please elaborate on this nonsense.
For some very strange reason,
worth listening to.
For some very strange reason, the people around our president William Ruto have told him that hatutaachilia Kissi. We will work day and night. We will camp. We will pour money, and we will make sure that Kissi is ours. From a strategy point of view, I think that's a very stupid strategy because while you are zero grazing on Kissi, a lot more is happening where you could have gained ground. But okay, so for some reason, that is what the focus is on. So what is happening is that we have all these fronts in terms of empowerment programs that are being carried out, but really it is bribery. There is a lot of bribery of what you would perceive as voters, trying to persuade them that it doesn't matter if you are homegrown local politician by the name of Fred Matiang'i is vying for president. He doesn't have this money. As we have this money, so we want you to remember us and stay with us, and don't think we are going to run out of this money. We are going to come every week and give you this money until 2027 when you have to vote. So essentially what's happening is that two things. First of all, there is not one point where you will have an empowerment program where you will invite everyone and give everyone money. So for instance, if I live, for instance, in a village called Sameta Mukwerero, or let's give it an easy name, a village called X. That X village, let's say, even has 7,000 people. At any given point when I do an empowerment, I'm not going to get all 7,000 people. That's why you have mobilizers. So you'll probably get 2,000 people. What you forget is that out of the 2,000 people who you are now bribing with 1,000 shillings for every sitting, there is a remaining 5,000 people who have not been bribed. So when these people go home, there will always be animosity. Yeah? Nyinyi wale wakupewa ile pesa ya nini, nyinyi ndio mnakula pesa yetu ya tax. So they will always, in fact what you're doing, if William Ruto started at 6% in Kissi before Matiang'i came, he's now at -6. Because now the 5,000 people who have not been bribed in this particular day will be like, okay, we have marked you, we have done. It creates animosity within the village. So you start having the infights. Now with time it becomes like you city will go because you're among the 2,000 that are being bribed, but when you come back home with your 1,000, you will give each of us 100 shillings. So the exercise becomes null and void, because I will go get 1,000, I'll come back home, I'll be beaten, they will split it, divide by 25, everyone will get 30 shillings or whatever. This whole thing is useless. And then there will be animosity. Mbona we uliitwa na mimi ndio firstborn na wakaita thirdborn?
But how
you understand?
How does
they don't think about those dynamics. So there's a lot of fighting within the villages about the bribe that is being given.
And this is a reality.
I'm giving you straight fresh off the ground.
Okay.
Now, aside from that, is that now there is a realization that, so if Matiang'i was not vying, this money would have gone where? Okay, so Matiang'i is the reason why we are getting this money. Very good. In fact, I'm going to vote for Matiang'i. Because if Matiang'i never put out his head saying that I'm thinking of presidency, you and all this money would probably be in Luo Nyanza. So you only value us because Matiang'i is vying. So I'm going to take your money and I'm going to vote for Matiang'i. Now the difference is, those boys in Kissi, there are some boys in Kissi there by the names of Osoro, Silvanus Osoro, the whip of the National Assembly, Japheth Nyakundi, the treasurer of United Democratic Alliance. Actually, those are the two main boys that I want to deal with today. They have become so emboldened in their bribery and their abuses to the people that they are now using goons. So that if one person stands and says one term, yesterday you saw arrows were being thrown. Now they're using bow and arrow.
Crude
to
weapons.
shut down. Because police officers have also realized, as much as we would like to assist you in this thing, there's a lot of eyes on us in uniform. So because we can't assist you outrightly, what we are going to do is we are going to protect the goons. So the goons,
let them do the dirty work.
Yeah. So obviously now, if you bring goons to deal with villagers, the villagers themselves are goons, and they will become goons, because you can't come to my house and bring me goons to fight me and expect me to sit down and put my head down. I'll fight back. So there's a lot of violence. Another thing you will see is that there's show of might. Osoro is walking around with his gun. Yesterday Nyakundi is walking around trying to take the bodyguard's gun. It even fell. There's a whole incident. When you're dealing with boys, you're not dealing with mature people. You're dealing with boys. So it's just a matter of time before an incident, a huge incident occurs and someone loses their life, because there's a lot of bravado. Sisi ndio tuko na pesa. Osoro is on record after he has gathered people and people are telling him, we need to go back to the farm to work. Hurry up with your speech, give us the money, let's go back. Because that's what the guys were telling him.
They were not there for the speech.
And you know, they're literally telling him, we are appreciating the convening because it is a form of work. You're going to pay us. But mvua iko karibu kunyesha, we need to go before the rain comes down. There are things we have left in the farm. And Osoro is on record telling them, sit down. Where do you need to go? Which other meeting will give you the money I'm giving you? I am the one with the money. Sit down. You will listen to me because I'm the one with the money.
Was Osoro nominated or elected?
He's a whip. He's elected.
Just asking.
He's elected.
How does ODM fit into this whole picture?
Now, thank you. Now you're guiding me. Otherwise, sometimes I can digress. How does ODM come in? Before Matiang'i came into the picture, we were all bungled as Nyanza. We used to be called Watu wa Nyanza. Then we are put there Migori, Luo Nyanza, Kissi, Gusi Nyamira, Watu wa Nyanza. And by being put Watu wa Nyanza, often the Kissis, because we are a minority, would just disappear as an AOB. You'd even be saying, wanasema si tumepea Nyanza, si mbadi yako na kazi na si tumepea Nyanza. And you're like, no, but us guys, we are Kissis. So they would always, we were like the small brother in the Nyanza. Yeah, and the other smaller brother than us was Migori. Now,
no, the other smaller brother, Kuria.
Kuria. Now, what happened is, in comes Matiang'i. What does Matiang'i do? Matiang'i says, mi nawaomba niende nikaitishe kura. So because ametuomba tuende tukaitishe kura with Kissi, we are excited because one of our own is about to go out there and make things happen.
And
yeah.
Gwesa.
Yeah. So of course all of Kissi, they run away from the umbrella of Nyanza and they become Gusii region. What does that do to ODM? ODM has been walking around here with the card of Nyanza. We control Nyanza. Now,
Wakajua hawajui.
Essentially, if you control, that is 6 plus 2, 8, 9, 10 counties, 2 are gone. And not 2 very small ones, 850,000 plus are gone. Voters.
We're talking about voters here now.
Yeah. So, where does that leave Baba? Luo Nyanza. And Luo Nyanza, as it's standing, because of all the confusion, I mean, there are places in Luo Nyanza where people did not win with an ODM ticket.
Okay.
We have independent candidates. It's weird. It started happening last election.
Okay.
So he also knows
Actually,
even there.
it started before the last election.
Yeah.
The first elections that we had, the governor of Migori was elected on a party that was not ODM.
Yeah. So
Others were elected. There's one famous person who was elected on an ODM ticket, and previously, after that, has then been elected on an independent ticket.
Independent ticket, yes. Yeah. Shabir, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So PDP got a good number. So the issue of people not, let's put it this way, people understanding that they want to vote for the person they want to vote for,
exactly,
the party.
as about the party.
That reality is
gaining traction.
In Luo Nyanza particularly.
It actually is gaining traction. The moment you see many people being elected on an independent ticket, it's like they've said, look, we're not opposed to the party, but we actually prefer this person.
This person.
Yes.
And now what's happening?
Yeah.
ODM, which has been going around negotiating with the umbrella of Nyanza, realizes they don't have Nyanza anymore. And by the way, William Ruto got a substantial amount of votes from Migori and Kuria. So essentially, even that Nyanza you're walking around, take away a percentage of Migori and Kuria, so you are left with Luo Nyanza.
Migori has a history of always being opposed to whatever else happened.
In the main...
at the time when there was NDP or LDP in what is referred to as Luo Nyanza, you had Migori councillors who were Kanu. So that thinking and that happening isn't actually alien.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
continue.
ODM has lost a huge amount of, if you have assets, you can say assets.
Is that a permanent loss, or is it as a loss for now?
Well, with politics, you can't say it's permanent, but it is a loss. And you know, as a politician, you can't sit and say, okay, you imeenda. You can also sit and say, you imeenda, wacha tuende tukachukue kwingine, but Raila and ODM wataenda kuchukua wapi? Northeastern? Central? Metropolitan? When you really think about ODM, you know, now it's like these are the cards on the table. You need to scamper for safety and get a few assets here and there. The assets are gone. Central is gone. They can't touch Central, especially ODM.
Yes.
ODM, their zones were also the cosmopolitan, where it's mixed tribes, right? The likes of
Mombasa,
Nairobi, Mombasa. It's going. It's going in the umbrella of one term.
Actually, the in the metropolitan, you cannot compare your neck of the woods with the metropolitan because the demographics of that population hasn't changed, and there's no visible sign. In Gusii land, there's visible signs.
There's visible signs, yes.
And there's narrative to support those signs. Because when you talk to people, they will tell you things like, my friend, you cannot say a word against Matiang'i.
But that is true.
Now, when you hear that, and that's a politician telling you, elected telling you, my friend,
you can't.
This is the position that has been taken. Now, if you look at our history and how political leaders are sent to that position of leader, it's not them who vie for the position. It's the people who determine to give it to them.
Yes. So now ODM is feeling that they can't just let go of Kissi.
Or Gusii.
Remember, Gusii is also where they have a deputy party leader in the name of Simba Arati, the governor for Kissi. I am a supporter. Let me not say I am. I have been a supporter of Governor Simba Arati for the longest time. But today I am in studio telling you,
yes,
with the way Simba Arati is moving, he's losing his seat.
Analeta mchezo.
You know why? Because it's not Kisses, we are different. We are special. There are things you will do in other regions that you can get away with. In Kissi, you not get away with.
Please, this one I want to understand. Give me a for example.
Before I go to the social things you can do and get away with other places and not our place, let me talk about in the political context. In Kissi, once the region has said, huyu mtu amejitokeza na wamkubali, the same walikubali Nyachai na watu wakasema okay, huyo ndo ameenda. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a minister. It doesn't matter if you are a governor. As long as you are going against that person that the people have said, hapa tunaona hata kama tutafika mbali sana, hapa ndio vitu zetu zitaangaliwa, you are done. Now, Simba is conflicted because he's a deputy party leader of ODM. ODM is in bed with William Ruto and UDA. Kissi has already said, us, we are going where Matiang'i for now is going. But not only have they said where Matiang'i is going, they are also saying we are going one term.
Okay.
Kissis are saying two things. They are saying, number one, Matiang'i. Number two, one term.
What if
now Simbarati is coming to tell them, nimesikia kenye mnasema, lakini for now unajua lazima tufanye kazi na William Ruto, and na unajua ule mtu ambaye atasema ule atakuwa president ni Raila. Those things Kisses don't want to hear. Because they are saying, we bado unaleta vitu za Raila hapa na tumekuambia ni vitu sisi tunaongea Matiang'i. So now they start looking at him as a traitor.
What if Matiang'i decides at one point that okay, he's joining Ruto?
Personally, I personally will lead. I will lead Kisses, me as a woman. The day Matiang'i wakes up and says he's going for a handshake with the
president,
regime, me personally, I will come out. Forget even the day he says. The day myself, I even see signs like mukiona tu ile siku nimetoka kwa mrengo ya Matiang'i,
something is coming.
Mujue iyo mahali is not okay. So yani the day you will see Gloria now is not looking like this Kissi story is selling. That day, just know that there's a problem.
But if he actually does that mean that the community then will follow him? The Gusii community.
And that's why I said two things. Number one, for now, they are saying Matiang'i.
Yes. Number two,
they are saying one term.
And that's why I'm asking.
Now, they are saying Matiang'i, why? He's ours. Ni mtu wetu. We want to see our own also going to play in the national arena.
And that's good.
Number one. But they're also saying one time, why? Matiang'i has come and said, wait a minute, we have a problem in this country.
Okay.
He has acknowledged we have a problem, we have a leadership problem, and the problem is here.
Okay.
The day he will start singing a different tune, that okay, we might have a problem, but we think that, let me tell you,
even
himself, even the people will walk out on him.
Watamwambia kwaheri.
And if you want to test the things that I'm telling you are not theory. Number one, Maraga ni wetu. Mbona wakisi wamtaki?
Tujibu hiyo swali. Wewe ni Mkisi.
Not hawamtaki, but they are just like, what are you doing?
As compared to Matiang'i.
It has nothing to do with who is smarter than who. It has everything to do with, you know, in Kissi, there are certain people, once they install you, there's a certain level of group of people, the Samongeris, the elders, the people we respect, all of us, regardless of which political party we come from. When Samongeri stands on the stage, you cannot dare to boo him because he's Samongeri. You understand? Those elders, when the Chris Obure, those people who have been Kissis, tunakuanga na hii kitu ya heshima to the people who have seen the older people. Those people have already made their stand.
Is that really true?
That's true.
Why is it therefore that after Nyachai's bid for the presidency, he was then incorporated into the government, if I remember correctly, at some point. Then when he next stood for a seat, he was actually beaten by what one would refer to as a political nobody.
Well, I can't explain the dynamics then, but it's the same situation I'm trying to tell you now. We have two very respectable people coming from Kissi. Maraga is a very respectable person, but you tend to ask yourself why we see the occurrences that are happening when he goes to Kissi.
Can I suggest something?
But yes, City also, you know, so, I can respect you as an elder, but still disagree with you politically. So just because I respect you and I revere you,
but it's not just one. I'm not talking about one person has come and told us go this direction. There is a group there is a resounding group. There's a council of people
All right.
that has told people this is the direction we're going.
So they are gatekeepers.
It's not gatekeepers.
They are gatekeepers. If you have if you have people who are listened to and who are opinion shapers, and people whose opinions matter.
Yes, that's how I would like to
gatekeepers.
Put it. Okay, that's how I would like to put it. Can I also say something?
There's something I need to get out of this, because that gatekeeping thing, because if they were proper gatekeepers, don't you think they would have blocked someone like not Matiang'i, what's his name? Former CJ from ongemwambia bro, weka kando, huyu ndio tunataka.
Let me explain something about.
That's also because they haven't told him. They've just said, they've just told it is. The moment a caucus determines that the views of certain individuals are what will carry the day, you've bequeathed on that person that particular position of gatekeeper.
But they haven't stopped anyone else.
No.
So for
but
me, it's like
gatekeeping doesn't
stop you. It kind of just tells people these ones are making noise. This is where we are going.
Because a gate is closed and open.
No. You're being literal about this.
Oh, you're being anecdotal.
No, I'm being philosophical. Let me explain.
Okay, 1-1. Let me just say. So, okay. In summary, what I can tell you is, right now, the region is saying we are listening to Fred Matiang'i, and I feel very bad for my peers, the likes of because those are my peers. We are sort of age mates: Silvana Sosoro, Japheth Nyakundi, and the flower girls, because they are flower girls who have been forced into that thing. I feel bad for them because.
You are insulting these people by calling them flower girls.
But what is a flower girl?
I wouldn't know. Tell me.
A flower girl.
She's being anecdotal now.
I'm not being anecdotal. I'm being literal. Very literal.
She's being literal.
If you have been chosen upon in whatever capacity, whether specially elected or elected, and someone has seen a level of potential in you, if at all that's why they put you in that position, why would they not then allow you to actually participate and give your views as you feel? Because I know those women do not support the empowerment program. I know that. I know it. They have spoken about not supporting. They don't like being in those sessions. It is so bad that there's even one of them who, for many of those empowerment programs, every time they're told to do 2 terms, she kept on waving. She was called and told, we have seen you. Do 2. Fanya mbili, picha itoke. Because they don't want to be there. They don't want to participate in the charade that is this fake empowerment. And they cannot express their views of them not wanting to be there because they know that they are safeguarding their paycheck. So then is that not a flower girl?
Senator Gloria.
That's a flower girl.
Let's talk realistically about our politics, okay?
But until there, are we together?
No, I'm in full agreement with you. Complete. I'm not editing that agreement. It's full, complete. It's
sign and seal.
Quisha, the reality of our politics and these discussions about so-called elders, it has morphed over time. There was a time these elders were probably church leaders, and people who were elected were people who were considered to be standing members of society who were held in high regard.
Yeah.
When there was no money involved.
Yeah.
The moment money became involved, these voices that I'm referring to as gatekeepers and elders also became people who could be bought.
They were up for grabs.
They're up for sale. Okay? Now, I am saying this and I'm leading to something. There's a perception that your cousin has money that you can't count in broad daylight. You need to count it into the night and into the following day. And even then you won't have counted all of it. There's that thinking. Now, if I'm to go with the thought process and the direction I am taking, Maraga is not known to have any money that you can't count within an hour or so. Okay? Would the thinking that your cousin has money play an important role in this?
But that is the same money that we are seeing William Ruto pouring in Kissi, and it's not William Ruto allegedly has even bought the church and the clergy. I've said allegedly very intentionally. What is stopping him from buying the elders in Kissi? So my argument would be, if it is a money thing, it must be the person who has the highest money, the highest offer.
Right.
And between those 3 people you have mentioned, the person with the highest money and the highest offer remains William Ruto. How come he has not managed to buy the clergy? I mean the elders.
Okay, I am going to respond to your question. And
if that is the theory.
And this is the... No, this is a hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically speaking,
yes.
If Matiang'i has bought the elders, how come?
No. He may not have bought them. No. I'm not saying he has bought them. I'm saying he represents the possibility of the purchasing power is
and
a possibility.
And then the argument still remains,
yes,
that in fact his is just a representation of the possibility.
Yes.
But we know for a fact that William Ruto is in Kissi every day. By the way, his agents, that is the Deputy President Kindiki, has been in Kissi 13 times. 13. In less than a year.
And the people happy.
And he's not presenting a possibility. He's presenting actual money.
But you see,
and still
you actually stated it earlier and now you've reinforced it. It is Matiang'i who has brought all this.
Yeah.
Because is that money being rejected?
But this is my thing. No, the money is not being rejected. The money is not being rejected. And by the way, I said this to Kenyans. Why would you reject your taxes?
Actually,
you know, in Europe, when you file your taxes, at the end of the year, you have a window where you can claim back your taxes. You can claim it back through receipts and whatever. Wait, let me finish. And in Europe, after the financial year ends, a month or 3 later, you even get tax refunds. Yeah, you are refunded. Unasikia tu show, haya nimerudishiwa 250k. They said you overpaid taxes in the last financial year. For me, when that money comes back to the ground, because we don't have a platform for Mama Mboga and Boda Boda and all these informal traders to get back their taxes, to me, it is a form of tax returns.
All right.
The state is saying you overpaid your taxes last financial year. And Osoro has brought it back to you. So why would I tell people not to take back their taxes?
Mheshimiwa, your cousin at one point did say that Matiang'i needs to bring numbers. Do you feel like right now he has the numbers to bring to the table?
Who said that? Rigathi Gachagua?
Yes. Rigathi.
My other cousin now.
Yeah.
My metamorphic, the cousin. I think everyone needs numbers. Everyone. And I'm not talking just about Matiang'i. Everyone has to. It's the question, what do you bring to the table? And that's why Raila Odinga, you asked me, City, what does this have to do with ODM? Yeah. ODM still understands to go to any table, you must go with something to bring to the table. And that something in politics is numbers. Okay. So he has gone back to reclaim Kissi, so that he can continue having his numbers solid.
Okay.
Yeah. And rightfully so. Any politician who does that has a right to do that. That's the game. The only thing that I keep wondering, and this now goes back to the advisors around these people, and I keep wondering if I sat down, if it was me, and maybe that's why it's not me, but if it was me and I'm told, okay, the bases are moving, we have 47 counties. How many tribes? How many regions? Put for me all my assets on the table. Let's see where we have the highest chance in 22 months to reclaim back my numbers. I would not go to Mount Kenya and I would not go to Kissi. Because the amount of money, resources and time I will spend to just get 30% at the maximum. If I go, for instance, to Northeastern, the return on investment is high. If I go to, for instance, places that have not really been bombarded by many people, Isiolo, for instance, right? Isiolo is up for grabs to me. I'm an amateur, I could be wrong. If I go to Isiolo, whatever numbers you're looking for, that 30% in Kissi.
Yeah.
Because remember, William Ruto also won an election with 200,000 votes, worth one constituency. So if at all we are saying, okay, we've lost 1 or 3 constituencies, what are you doing in Kissi? Kissi is gone. Kissi, you will spend 15 months doing the same thing and you will get not 10%. So what I would do, but I'll also tell you what he's doing. Ruto is not looking for numbers in Kissi. Whatever he's doing is not for looking for numbers. People don't know this.
He's dividing the region?
Let me tell you, that my party leader is not stupid. He is doing it for public show because he knows. As a presidential candidate, which Matiang'i is, Matiang'i will need to form allies. Other regions have to look at him as the guy who's going to win this seat. For them to look at him as the guy who's going to win this seat, they have to look at him and see he has secured Kissi region Ruto cannot even walk in Kissi. So for every single time that Kindiki is walking in Kissi, Farouk is doing things in Kissi, it doesn't mean that those people, the things they are doing translates to votes, but it becomes very difficult for Matiang'i to go and even convince Gachagua that, by the way, hizo vitu munaona Ruto anafanya, they have no impact. Mimi bado niko na ground yangu. So other people, other players start doubting him. Players who would bring to his basket voters, they start looking and they're like, lakini wewe hata kama tunaona namba zako ziko juu, yani hata home ground yako haujashikilia, bado watu wanarandaranda huko home ground yako, si uwafukuze. You understand? So Ruto is not playing the game for numbers, the one that Raila is playing. Ruto is playing the game for perception, where this guy is so weak, because we have by-elections in Kissi, in Matiang'i's ward, not constituency, ward level. There's a by-election. Do you know who's the second strongest candidate? Some guy there. Do you know which party is supporting and sponsoring him? United Democratic Alliance. It is a message that is being sent to the public and anyone who wants to partner with Matiang'i, that this guy atakwa ward ya Kenya Nsiongo. Imagine sisi tumeweza kuweka candidate. Try and go, where does Raila Odinga come from?
Bondo.
His ward?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
If there's a by-election, try and go and field a candidate. You can't even field a candidate. The candidates themselves will be like, wacha ujinga, ini chama gani unatuletea hapa, wacha mimi nitaenda independent, because he has done cemented the perception thing of you cannot walk here in any capacity. So Ruto is just anafanya ile kitu ya wacha ni kuchafulie CV. Ndio ukienda huko kwa United Opposition ushashuka. And it's working. It's working.
Kuna swali hapa. Someone is asking, what has the senator been up to post Senate life since she withdrew her petition in court last week?
By the way, that's withdrawing the petition and whatever. By the way, I didn't withdraw a petition. I won a case. You know what happened? The day when we were waiting for the judgment to come out, a little bird from the Senate told me they're swearing her in. Actually, I was told the night before. They know they are losing the case and they're swearing her in. And one of the lawyers in my team said, first thing in the morning, we have to go and get a court order to stop the swearing in. You understand?
Yep.
And I thought like, oh, this is a good idea. Yeah, let's stop the swearing in, because you listen to counsel, which is actually, they had a point. So we went to court to get an order to stop the swearing in. And how do I say this without saying it? Let me just say, and we didn't get the order. What we got was a hearing date for weeks later. So we have come to court to tell you, these people are swearing in this person in an hour. You're telling us to come 3.5 weeks later to be heard.
So you've been told.
You understand what I mean? It's like,
you've been told.
Wasn't it like an emergency
it was,
application?
and that it was certified urgent. No, it was not. It was certified urgent. We went there telling them, like, if you go and look at the petition that was withdrawn, they are about to swear her in. Once they swear her in, they want to just keep us in court with all these legal proceedings, and we know a judgment is coming out within the hour that's going to stop all of these things. So we went to court. So that particular court we went to felt that there's no urgency, and you can come back 3 or whatever weeks later.
Okay.
So that same day when we were told to come back 3 or whatever weeks later, we withdrew the matter, because what are we coming back 3 weeks later to do when what we are trying to stop is happening in an hour?
So
we withdrew the matter, and it was on the same day. But let me just say this outrightly. The Senate has got a budget for media. And the day when they started running that propaganda that on that day I withdrew the matter, it was like last week or something, was the same day that they were trying to seek a stay order to protect the senator that's there. Okay. And they lost again. So the media, and some media, let me not say the media, but some of these media people are still under the payroll. They eat from the Senate. So they were incentivized to run a narrative.
Okay.
So that you could not hear breaking news, big blow for UDA as they are denied stay orders to protect Senator Akwabubi. That has never been reported.
Okay.
How come no media house has reported that the lady sitting in Senate, the court has actually refused to protect her? Because the court still at this point sees her as an illegal placement.
Okay.
No media has said that, yet it has happened 3 times. 3 times they have gone to court, begging, pleading. 3 times the court has said, wait a minute, there are some matters that need to be heard.
Okay.
No breaking news has been. So what they were trying to do, they thought that I'm in the business of paying media, that I would pay media to say that they have lost again to get stay orders. So they preempt and then they ran a false narrative.
She said she wants to go for a woman rep. Which party and why?
Wait, and what else? You asked me another thing. What have I been doing since?
Oh, yeah.
I've been living. Before I became a senator, I still was living. I still was...
you had a life.
I had a life, and this is the difference. This is the difference. People are expecting. I'm actually told that the clerk has been waiting to see a lot of things like big blow, as you know. I don't know. I'm kicked out of my home, or, so,
depression.
Spotted in a bar drinking and dying of, I don't know. I mean, he can wait. He's gonna die waiting. That's
The
not gonna
Senate
happen.
is full of drama, isn't it?
Yeah, but he will die waiting for that, because if there's, I know my problem. I have a problem of dignity, and you will not take that away from me. And in that sense, it will cut across my social life. That's why you don't see me doing certain things. That's why you will not encounter me in certain areas, because they are putting up a front. I'm living my life. This is how I live my life. So it has not changed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I've been living my life. I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I'm working with my partners who have been supporting the end period poverty campaign. I've traveled. I've been in the US. I've because again, my friends remain the same. There's a friend of mine who was vying for governor in Mobile County in the US. I've been living. I'm breastfeeding. I'm still breastfeeding. Like, the Senate will not stop me from breastfeeding. Like, these are my breasts. I'm still breastfeeding. So the thing is, life continues. I'm still doing politics.
Yeah.
I mean,
actually, that's the question I was asking.
I'm still doing politics.
Woman rep, which party?
I'm vying in Bobasi constituency.
Yeah.
I know. You see, they are asking me women rep because the public is pushing me to come to Nairobi and vie for women rep in Nairobi. I appear very bold. I am very bold. But I'm also very. As Siti said, I think through a lot of things.
Yes, you do.
So what you're telling Esther Passari is, as a panic, you're not coming to Nairobi?
No. Any day. By the way, if I come to Nairobi, Esther Passari is not my competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If I come to Nairobi, I don't see her as a competition. I feel that she has done her work. Her time is up. She needs to move. And I think she feels the same way. I heard she's trying to go to Makadara or Roysambu or wherever. I have no ill feelings
MP.
about her as MP.
Okay.
I think she's done the best she could with that seat. I just think it's time for her to go. And she also thinks the same.
Okay.
And she's not going to be my competition if I was to come to Nairobi. I know there are some players who are trying to. I know people they're waiting for me to say I'm vying in Nairobi because they want to, But I'll be honest with you, I have not changed my position as vying in Bobasi constituency. There's a lot of push from United Opposition to get me to Nairobi, but I am very cautious about a lot of things because I have wanted to lead the people of Bobasi. I don't think that should change by someone telling me
you have wanted to represent the people of Bobasi, and to serve them.
Yes, and to serve them.
Yes.
Yeah, and it can't go overnight. It will take a lot of convincing, a lot of, and people are saying women are not elected there. I mean, it will take a lot. I won't just wake up one morning and say I'm going to go and forget about Bobasi now. I mean, no, that's not what I do. But I have also been doing certain things. I have continued speaking up for the women of Kenya. I've continued being a critic of the wrong things that are happening in government. I have continued highlighting. In fact, I saw some people were conned last week by Alfred Mutua again. I have continued highlighting the things that they kicked me out for, right? And I will not stop. I will not stop.
Right.
Unless, of course, they kill me, but I will not stop.
All right.
Yeah.
Mwesh, we have come to the end of the show.
Before you come to the end of the show, I have to say this. We never spoke about Jubilee.
Yeah.
I don't come from Jubilee Party. And there's a lot of activities today. We have the Jubilee NDC. I don't know what's going to happen there. We also are not aware of the things that are going to happen. There is a I understand, going to be an appearance by Dr. Fred Matiang'i at Jubilee. I'm also waiting to see that. I'm waiting to see whether it will be an appearance as a member, an appearance as a party leader, who knows, deputy party leader, presidential candidate. So it's always exciting in any game to get a new entrant.
Okay.
There's a lot of worry of what that means for the united opposition, and validly so.
Okay.
Validly so, because you cannot take away the fact that DCP and Rigathi Gachagua are holding on the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm also waiting to see how the new entrant of Jubilee as a party, in terms of reviving it and all this, is going to give that balance, or throw the balance or whatever. But I also want to say this to the people of Gusii region. No matter where the chips fall, I think this is one of the best times to be from that region.
Okay.
And I think we should not waste that opportunity. And I think we should, it's time that we teach these boys a lesson.
Hey, teach these boys a lesson.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, I invite you next week.
We need to teach the boys a lesson. I want that message to sink in.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. I'm not inciting anyone to any violence.
Right.
Lessons can be taught through conversation. Lessons can be taught through abstinence.
Through the ballot.
And through the ballot.
Can we talk next week?
And I'm just saying to the people of Kissi, keep the peace, keep the unity, but teach the boys a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've not answered my question. Next week?
I can come next week.
Aye.
By the way, they have said I'm jobless. They don't know what I'm doing. So
So you have a lot of time on your hands.
Time is all I have.
All right.
Yeah.
Tumekukaribisha wiki ijayo.
Thank you.
Tutaongea tujue ni siku gani utakuja.
Yeah.
Right, that's where we come to an end. That is Senator Gloria Orwoba, nominated senator